Hi everyone, welcome back to chapter 13 of Forever Ripley, the story of Ripley the dog. On the way home, Charlie sits beside the window. I curl into a ball on the seat between her and Mom, too tired to hang my head out the window. I rest my head on Charlie's sun-warmed leg, my backside presses against Mom's hip. The perfume of sand and salt fades into the deeper, older smells of peat moss, leaves, and home. The truck's tires hum on the road as my lips relax, and I settle into a heavy sleep. Is that the truck from the Red Wolf Center the other day? Mom's voice wakes me. I think so. Charlie's leg shifts beneath my head. Our truck slows. I should probably see if they need help. They're never going to get a signal out here. The truck rolls to a stop. Roll down your window. Charlie presses a button and the tang of fresh cut trees seeps inside the truck, shaking the sleep from my head. I push myself up for a better sniff and to look out the window. Need help? Mom calls to the men standing beside a muddy truck. Flat tire, no spare. A wiry man steps forward toward Charlie's window. The hair at the base of my neck bristles. Want me to drive up the road a ways and call a wrecker for you? Mom holds up her phone for the man to see. A wrecker will be expensive. Can you just give us a lift into town? He peers inside our truck. The second larger man steps forward. Wish I had the room, Mom gestures to me and Charlie. You could throw the dog in the back, the larger man says, looking down his sharp nose at us. That's not safe. Charlie squints at the men, then pulls me closer to her side. Maybe she smells the fresh-cut trees on them, too. Ripley can't ride in the back. Ripley, huh? The man sneers, leans forward, and rests his arm on our truck near Charlie's shoulder. Sure she can. A growl forms in my throat. My lip curls. Easy now, old girl. His lip curls too, but he removes his arm from the truck. She's very protective, Mom says, resting a hand on my back. She's a retired fish and wildlife law enforcement dog. The man steps back a little farther, his eyes cut to the other man's face, then to a large smelly box in the back of their truck. Have you been fishing? Mom asks, her eyes narrowing on the box. The big man pokes his thumb through the loops on his pants. Just a couple of, yeah, we've been fishing. The smaller man jabs the larger one with his elbow. Caught a couple of nice spotted sea trout, ma'am. Right. Mom's eyes narrows. You wouldn't want to be caught fishing anything out of season around here. The law enforcement folks are pretty vigilant about license checks and ticket writing. Good thing we have our licenses and nothing to hide. The man's lip curved into a smile. You be careful too, lady. You and your kid wouldn't want to get wrapped up in anything that's not your business out here in the swamp all by yourself. He slaps his hand on the side of our truck, standing on all fours. I lean over Charlie toward the open window. My chest rumbles. Charlie pushes me back with her arm. Some of this is my business. Mom waves her hand toward the swamp outside the truck. How so? The wiry guy spits and drags the back of his hand across his mouth. I'm a biologist. I work with fish and wildlife too. She levels her eyes on the man's eyes, like one top dog staring down another. Right then, the man glances down at his hands, breaking eye contact first. And no need to call a wrecker for us, the taller man says, and clamps his hand on the other man's shoulder, pulling him away from the truck. We don't want to put you out. We'll walk till we get signal. Good idea. Mom's hands tighten on the steering wheel. Thankfully, the horrible men step further away from the truck. I glare out the back window as our truck eases away from them. Ripley didn't like them very much, Charlie says, as she ruffles my fur, then presses the button to raise the window. They weren't very likable. Mom's hand relaxes as we leave the men further and further behind. I circle on the seat, trying to relax, but no matter how far we drive away, how hard I try, I can't get the fishy, fresh timber smell of those suspicious men out of my nostrils. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed chapter 13 of Forever Ripley. If you're liking these videos, please go ahead and like and subscribe for future notifications on future upcoming videos. Well, I hope everyone had a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.